Hey there guys, it's Steven here with another video. This time I'm gonna try my hands on a video review. It's my first one I've ever done, so bear with me guys. The game I'm gonna talk about today is Alien Infestation. Probably one of the last few quality titles available for the system. So I'm just gonna jump in and start with the pros here. First off, this game has amazing visuals, some nice 2D sprites, and a pretty sick atmosphere. It's actually pretty freaky, and you'll jump a few times as aliens and even cats will come out of the ceiling. The gameplay itself is pretty tight. It's pretty standard Metroid style gameplay here, where you need to navigate corridors, find items, find weapons, find explosives, etc., and upgrade them in order to access new areas. The game is actually quite hard at first, as the enemies are really hard and they take a lot of bullets to kill. But the more you advance, the more your items and weapons will be upgraded and the easier it will get. But what is really important to this game is that you must at all times use the motion sensor included on the touchscreen. At first I didn't know this, so the first 3 hours I played without it, just with the the weapon screen, so I could switch weapons easily, and I ended up losing a bunch of characters. The game has over 25 characters that you can find, but you can only carry 4 at a time, and you can only switch them in save rooms. But when a character dies, he's dead forever. So you really need to watch out. Like for me, the majority of the game I played, I only had one character because it took me a long time to get used to the game. But once you do, it's actually a lot easier, but it's still pretty challenging. So like I said, you need to use the motion sensor every time, or else you'll get ambushed by aliens left and right. Lastly, the storyline is pretty decent. It's really a homage, I don't know the English word, it's probably the same thing, to the Aliens franchise. So those of you who are really big fans of the Aliens franchise will find a lot to like here. There are not that many cons I can find with this game, but there are a few. First off, the controls are kind of awkward. You can't really shoot and turn. Well, you can't actually shoot and turn at the same time, so it does prove to be a bit challenging sometimes, and for the wrong reasons. And there are a few occasions where there will be enemies in cover that you can't shoot unless you use a grenade, simply because it's kind of unbalanced. But it happens it doesn't happen often, so it's not a big complaint. But the controls do get a bit of getting used to at first, but like I said, it's part of the challenge, part of the fun. And lastly, it's not really a negative thing, but the boss fights in this game, they crank up the challenge by a mile. It's ridiculous. All the boss fights, most of the boss fights actually took me 2 or 3 characters to beat. So, like I said, it's really hard. So lastly, my overall, I'm not gonna give a score because I'm not big on scores, but what I can say is that for me this is a must-have DS game. It's a title you simply must experience. It's one of my favorite titles on the system, and it's probably gonna end up in my top 10 games of the year. In all, it'll take you about 6 to 7 hours to complete, and there's a lot of incentive to play through again, and it's only $29.99, so for me it's a bargain. I'd say buy it if you see it. I don't think there's I can't recommend this title enough. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this review. Hopefully I'll get better with time, but this is a title I really wanted to talk about, and enjoy the rest of the footage.